Alright, well, I think I'm in the mood to build something today, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to build a back here for the rabbit. Now, I had that wooden one in here, but the bottom was completely rotted out, so I just ripped the whole thing out, and the back is still good, the one that I have, but I I want to put something else in. I want to have something that I can actually see through, but we'll keep some of the stuff I put in the back. Like if I'm hauling brush or something, I don't want to have it bopping me in the head. So I'm going to build a back out of metal, and I think I've got just the thing. So let's go over to the scrap pile and dig it out, and then we'll modify it and see if we can get it in. So off to the scrap pile we go. Yeah, that's warm enough. Let's go. Oh, there it is. You can see it from here. I think that'll work perfect. Take this rounded one in the back here, and I think I'll cut it down widthwise, and then figure out something for the bottom, because it needs to be, I think, a little bit taller, but I think that'll work good. Let's take it back to the garage and check it out. Alright, here it is. We've gone ahead and taken off the brackets on either side of it, and I've measured between about this point and the same on the other side, so it'll sit up. Basically, it'll come pretty close to touching here, but it'll be about level. And this distance here is 52.5, which means that's as big as I can make it. So for the ease of math, I'll probably make it 52, and then I'll know it'll fit. I'll have a 1/4 inch on either side. Should be good there. And I've measured top to bottom. I'm going to have to add 10 inches to the bottom of that to get it up high enough so it just about matches this, which is probably a good thing, because then I can use, if I can find a flat steel panel or something, and just put that in there. That way I have kind of a bottom that's solid, and I can see through the top, which will be nice. So I think that's the route I'm going to go. And I said, what, 52 inches was that length there. So to make it sort of even, so I have the round things on either side, I'm going to go ahead and come in. Hard to do with one hand, but we'll get her done. I'm going to come in from each side 26 inches. I do believe that makes 52, yes. 26 inches. I'm just going to make a mark there, if I can, with my screwdriver. And then I'll do the same on the other side, 26 inches. And the same on the top. Get them all lined up. And I'll come out here and I'll cut them. Take this center section out and stick them back together and weld them up, and it should fit, I'm hoping. We'll see what happens anyway. Alright, I got my marks made. Hopefully that's where I want them. Let's see if we can't cut her up. one. Well, there we go. Let's put them in the car and see how close we are. Well, there we go. I kind of got it hanging in place there. Nothing's welded yet, but yeah, I think I like it. I mean, you know, it's got to obviously have to weld it together and jockey it around a bit, but I think I'm going to keep it like this. I thought about taking maybe a couple inches out of the middle there and narrowing it up so I could get these corners to line up a little better, but the more I look at it, you know, the more I don't care. It's not that big of a deal. I mean, I could always, I guess, take this and cut it and bend it, and that's a lot of work. I'm not building a church here, so I think I'll just weld that up, and then we'll set it in there, see how it looks, and figure out something for the bottom. I think that's what I'll do. I like it so far. It'll work. Alright, I've got her laid out the way I want it. Let's weld her up. Before I start though, I want to warn you, I'm not a welder. I don't know how to weld. I'm never going to claim to know how to weld. But I can stick two pieces of metal together. And it's not going to be pretty because I'm using the cheap Harbor Freight $90 flux core welder with the supplied safety mask, as you can see there. And another problem with this particular one is I believe this got kinked at some point, so the wire feed is, well, it's sporadic at best. So it's going to be basically a series of tack welds. I won't be able to run a bead, but two pieces of metal will stick together today, I swear. So let's get her welded up. Yep, series of tack welds. This could take a while. It's not going to be pretty. Welding in the daylight ain't easy either. But two pieces of metal are sticking together. I think you get the gist of it, so I'll finish her up. Alright, I know I told you it wasn't going to be pretty, so look away, avert your eyes if you're a welder. But two pieces of metal are stuck together. I'm liking the way it looks, the way it sits pretty much. And I'm thinking I'll just take, see if I can make a bracket here and just bolt it right to this hole. Bolt it right into the sheet metal here, because it's not going to need too much strength, because any force on it's going to be pushing back towards this way, and it'll stop it there. I'll probably, I don't know, secure it to here maybe somehow, just to keep it in line once I get it where I want it. But I got to take it off and go over some of them welds and grind them down. Make it halfway decent. It's not a church, but maybe it's I don't know, a Dairy Queen or something. We got to make it halfway decent. But I'm liking the way it'll work, and then once I got it bolted in and ground down, I think I'm gonna try to figure out a piece for this bottom part, a solid piece. I'll see what I got out back, and then that way I can still reach through, I can see through, but I can put stuff in the bottom and it won't get up under there. So I'm liking it so far. Alright, I think I figured out how I wanted to do this so that I have a pretty much solid panel down here at the bottom. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come in 3 inches total, so 1.5 inches on either side, with a piece coming down so I clear this on both sides. And I'm going to lay a flat piece on the bottom just like this, and then I'm going to take a piece of sheet metal and just weld across all of it. So I'll basically make a box and then weld it up. Simple enough. And then it's about 11.5 inches, so I'll cut the pieces 11 inches and I'll raise it up with that bottom plate by the thickness of this, which is about 3/4. So it'll be a little bit higher than it is now, but that'll be fine. I'll get some angle pieces in here and I'll bolt those in just in case I want to take this out. I don't want to weld anything super solid here. And once I've done that, it should be good. And what I've got, what I found in the scrap bin, this is what I'll make my box out of. It's another piece of that rectangular tubing from the bed frame. And I've got this trunk lid from the Red LeSabre. I believe that'll be big enough to give me a 49-inch long by 11.5 inch tall square. Relatively flat. It's not going to be perfect, but that's what hammers are for. Yeah, it won't be too bad. I can weld that in there. It'll almost match. Red, brown, pretty close. So basically it's just going to be some measuring, cutting, and welding. I'll draw a nice little square down here and cut it out with my circular saw. And hopefully it'll go easy. Well, here it is. Pretty much all finished up. I went ahead and I got this bottom piece on here. I got the box in and welded up there. Didn't do a full weld because that would have been just kind of a waste. But she's tacked on there, and I went ahead and I gave it a coat of black paint to keep it from rusting. And it looks pretty good. And it's not super solid in there, but it's good enough. I mean, I'm not going to be pulling trees out with it or anything, but I think it'll work good. And I can see very good out the back, so I'm glad that's done. Now I got to find something else to do. Shouldn't be too tough.